Hey guys, how are you doing today?
Good.
I want to say thank you first of all for joining me. I'm super excited about this movie, The Message and the Messenger. It is, to me, it hits home on totally different levels, multiple levels actually, being that I do come from a faith background. My parents are in ministry, so I'm like third generation ministry. And then coming from a charismatic background. But I really want to talk to you guys about how this resonated with you. Leah, you are the creator of this film. So let's talk a little bit about why you created this film and where does the story come from?
I created it because I didn't want people to make the same mistakes I did. I was the one who paid my tithes and didn't pay my light bill.
Yeah.
I didn't pay my rent. So those I just didn't want people to do the same things that I did.
Yeah.
And it hits home because it's somewhat of a blueprint on, okay, this is what happens, this is how you rise from it, and this is how you go on. Once you get the revelation, you just kind of move forward in that. So I want to just help people. That's the whole heart of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, this Rock Entertainment, we always go from darkness to light. There's always going to be restoration. In all of my films, I do not want to leave people bleeding on the ground or whoever is portrayed in the film to be bleeding. We always restore them back to health, back to life, back to God.
I love that. I love that you said restoring back to life, back to health, and back to God. That's really sweet. Now, I do want to talk about one thing. And I think it's interesting that the main character, she is single, and she's so deeply rooted in her faith. Was there a reason why she had to be a single woman? I know it was a reflection of, your story, but is there a reason why, or do you think that the church preys upon single women in that aspect?
When I went through it, I was single.
Okay.
When I wrote it, I was single.
Got it.
So she had to be single.
Yeah. Simple, plain, she had to be single. It was me. We were here. Right. Now, I know we talked a little bit about this earlier, but you wrote and created this in 5 days. Were you just using this as like a diary piece? Like where did the influence for 5 days? That's really quick.
Well, I actually went through the School of Ministry in 2002. So God told me that my ministry would not be in a pulpit, it would be on a screen. It would be on the stage. And as God inspires me, I have to act quickly, so I just wrote it. And because I went through this and I went through the whole process of learning, what real prosperity is. Yeah. It's not just money. It's about having good health. It's about having good relationships. It's about, loving people, loving God. So when all of that kind of came into in my life and in my spirit, it just kind of poured out of me. So that's why it happened so quickly. When I'm at peace and I am inspired by God, I can write pretty quickly.
I like that. Yeah, when the Holy Spirit takes over, baby, it's quick. It's very quick. Now, let's talk a little bit about this. So she is single. However, there are a few relationships that she has and a few connections that she has in the story.
Right.
Now, I do want to refer to you. I'm Michael. That's at this point, you're just Michael for everybody. No, but Benny, how was it having the relationship with Jessica? Being so strict, straight to the point, very kind of like you need to get this or your life is kind of over at this point. Right. What did you have to tap into to actually have that character?
Tapping into friends, cousins, spouses.
Got it.
Sometimes people are stuck in their ways and it takes some real uprooting to get them out of it. You know what I'm saying? So when I tap into that, it's like, okay, listen, you can be as beautiful as you want to be, but your physical side, it's not there. So I got to be strict. I got to be rough. I got to be tough with you. Even though I may think you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, I want to make sure you're right because the beauty is it's just beauty.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the brains to match it, then come on, love.
Now, I do get what you're saying. I do want to bring out something, kind of play devil's advocate, though.
Let's go.
So the whole time, you're here helping Jessica, but you have a little backstory of your own. And so we kind of get to that at the very end of the movie, and I don't want to give it away. But how was it kind of being the person who's helping someone with also having your own history and your own, not story of pain, but your own confusing and overcoming background story?
Well, with this, without giving it away, with his background story, if we go outside of what was shown in the film, 10 years prior to that, Michael was homeless. So I had to tap into the trial of, I even asked a couple of homeless people myself, just where was your mentality at? Where was your mind at this certain time? What were you thinking about? Where did you go at? And Michael. When I think about the character, I think about and I'm gonna name drop Sharif Hassan.
Okay.
It was an acting coach that I had, and I told him yesterday. It was just yesterday. I told him how strict he was on me, and I didn't like it at the time.
Yeah.
But now, after this film and seeing everything how it's prospering now, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed you being that hard on me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I didn't like it at the time. I wanted it. But, you need that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's needed when you're being corrected.
So you're able to connect more with the character, knowing that you had to have somebody who pulled something out of you, challenged you. Yes. Speaking of challenges, how is it that Bishop?
A bishop.
Because sometimes, and I will say from experience, I grew up in ministry. That's all I knew, right? Like I said, multiple generations. My father was a bishop in his organization over the state. So when it's deeply rooted in you, and you think that this is your way of life, and you have to come out of that mindset and realize that sometimes it's not God, it's just doctrine. What was that process like for you to kind of be Bishop Ayers?
It was coming to realize that, man. Well, first of all, I can relate. I can definitely relate to Bishop Abram Ayers. It was realizing that, and this is a true statement. What I kind of live by now, I stepping away from religion and more toward relationship with God.
Yes.
What I do is all about my love for Him.
Yeah.
And it's tough. We were earlier having a conversation. That is a hard thing to be a shepherd of sheep and have to get up and be like, "Hey, I missed it."
Yeah.
So that was a lot, and I just can't tell Leah thank you enough for that. It push to be like, okay, look, you're gonna have to go in. You're going to have to do what a lot of pastors, bishops will not do.
Yeah.
There's a difference between ownership and then just corrective teaching.
Yep. There's a big difference.
I faded away this teaching by covering and presenting you something now in the present. So that was kind of just taking ownership, hey, this is a mature step in realizing that this is the truth. This is the love that we need to go by.
I love that. So you talked about relationship, having a relationship with God, and I feel like this film is just full of relationships, different dynamics in relationship. But going back to talking about your relationship with God, when you created this film, did you have, because it was your story, but in any moment of actually writing this story, did you have to have like a God, I thank you moment where you were just like, I didn't realize how deeply rooted I was in this and how far off I was from you, and how it was kind of like a give and take, and I want to take more than I actually give. Mm-hmm. And did you have a moment like that with him?
Well, I could say learning the prosperity gospel, it makes you angry with God, especially if you're doing everything that He says, that the pastor said that you should do. And then it doesn't happen. It makes you doubt God. It makes you not trust Him. And to have those real moments with God, I did.
Yeah.
And then for Him to show me the way and get me out of that, I did have those. Thank you, God, so much. Yeah. But now it's not just a thank you. It's a mandate now. I have to help other people.
Yeah.
I can't just be out and free And, you know, I understand now I got my own revelation. Forget about y'all. I can't just leave other people out, because there are so many people in the body of Christ and the churches that I'm affiliated with are just awesome, amazing people who are still being led wrong.
Yeah. Did you guys carry that weight as well when you were actually creating the film? You know, having that conversation with her and her giving you the direction on your characters. Did you guys feel that weight, the carrying the ministry part of it?
Of course.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I think specifically, without giving too much, so just there's a scene with Benny that is had, and it's just kind of like it's that aha moment that you know this is what we're doing this for. This is what these cameras are on for, and that was truly a teaching moment, a ministry moment. It was like, man, when this is said. This is the pot of gold following the rainbow.
Let them use you. That's exactly what I thought.
So definitely.
I love that. Okay, so to lighten up the mood just a little bit, because I feel like, you know, we in here about to have altar call. No, what I think is very interesting about films like this, and what I want to say thank you first of all, guys, for giving us a film that isn't cheap in its delivery. It's not cheap in the messaging. When you go from a piece like this and then you have your careers, what is like one takeaway that you can say that you have experienced from just creating this film, watching the film back as an actor? Are there any self-critiques? Because this is really just like a self-revelation type film. And even as a writer, because you're still in the hot seat. So.
Right. Yeah. I love working with Leah. She not only is an amazing writer, but she is an amazing person who is able to cast people according to their abilities. And one thing I appreciated is I would come. I'm like, I'll drop that out. She's like, no, that needs to be said. It's like, it's the word "the." She's like, no, "the" needs to be said, but her mind it just works different. It's just different. And I work with other people, and they mind don't work.
They let some slide. Put that out.
Exactly. So when, like you say, it's not cheap. I mean, down to the details. And I actually would suggest some people, watch the film and then go back and watch it again, because there are some pieces in there after you've maybe gotten the meat and potatoes, a little seasoning, a little, extra this and that in there that you want to take from it. Yeah. And that's what I appreciate after going through this process, is that there is a excellence in the details. So,
and with me, I can just use one word, and that's purpose. I've read many of scripts over the years. I've been acting for over 2 decades now, and I've read a lot of scripts, but I haven't read not one script from Leah that didn't have any purpose in it. So I don't want to do a film. I don't want to put my face on the camera unless I'm doing something with a purpose that will teach the viewer something.
Yeah.
And that's what she does.
I love that. And Leah?
I'm just doing what God told me. That's basically it. When he said, hey, your ministry is not in a pulpit, it's on a screen or a stage, and my films are ministry. That's what they are, and I will use the, drama, sex scandal, all of that to go from darkness to light, but we're always going to light.
That's one thing I do like. Yeah. That you had reality.
Yeah,
oh, definitely reality.
It has to be reality. She's a fornicator. Yeah, she makes mistakes. Yeah, she doesn't understand, because everybody in the body of Christ is not doing everything to the T.
I was about to say that opening scene when she had that little slip up in the office, I said, Lord, I prayed that prayer. I'm really trying. But you gotta work with me, so.
A lot of people in there like,
that was really sweet.
You have to show reality, because we're supposed to be able to minister to the world, not just to the church.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if we're only being lily white Christians or holier than thou, then regular, normal humans cannot resonate with those characters. So let let's show all of the mistakes, even in the pulpit, even in the pews, all together, and let's see how we could establish a relationship with God and get it right.
I love that you talked about that, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but I guess I will. Just because I like to stir the pot. That's me. But you said forgiveness, right? Yeah. Having to forgive yourself, forgive others, forgive leadership. You know, right now we are seeing one of our very prominent pastors who has been speaking, gave us affirmations after affirmations on the prosperity message. Have a breakdown, have a bishop moment, where he's breaking down, asking for forgiveness. What I think is so beautiful about this, and I'm gonna be spiritual with it, how prophetic it is, that you created this film and then this happens. It's perfect timing. Perfect alignment. What would you say as a person who went through this? What kind of grace message could you give to someone who's experiencing this or is a part of his ministry and may see this interview? What was that journey of forgiveness for leadership? Even if you had to step away and set boundaries, what was that forgiveness journey like for you?
Once you, like I said, once you know God for yourself, it's about a relationship with Him, not so much a relationship with clergy or a relationship with the people in the pulpit. It's a relationship with Him, because my relationship with the clergy, I still love them. But my relationship with God was like, okay, you want me to do this, but I don't trust you to deliver me. Like, you know, like the word says, so I need to strengthen my relationship with God, you know, and still love them. I mean, they're human. Yeah. But when you think about God, you think about somebody who is perfect, who always loves you and always supposed to deliver you, and you know His promises are supposed to happen when you know work the problem, work the process, and work the principle. And it's like, and when it's not, it hurts your relationship with God. So that's what the whole film is, really, to help people to get their relationship right back with God. You know, because God doesn't fail. It may be things that that we're doing, and that's why I wanted to have her to get a mentor that teaches her the natural as well as the spiritual, because the natural things were the things that were missing, and then the things in our own heart, giving to give, giving under fear or intimidation, and you know all of these things that you know hinder our relationship with God. Yeah. So that's what, you know, still forgive clergy. I still love them. I always love them, you know. But it's just I just hope that they would take this movie if they watch it, you know, and
they're gonna be watching it. Look, I'm gonna round up some pastors and be like, watch this together.
There you go.
Now,
Sit down.
This is the 4 o'clock service. Actually, we're watching it.
No word.
No word. Film. This is the message. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You know, they watch it. That's fine. I mean, I'm a product of their ministry. Their ministry taught me. Yeah. You know, and I just take what I learned from them and extract the things that I know that are not necessary and needful for me, and I just go on with God.
I love that.
Awesome.
I love that. Okay, before we end, I'm going to play a little game with you guys.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw out a word. I'm going to throw out a phrase, or, I'm going to throw out a word, actually. And you guys tell me what first pops in mind. Okay? Bills.
Money.
I'm going to agree with money.
Money.
Okay. Preaching.
Me.
Okay, Cole. Is this a call to
Me. Abram.
I actually think he has one. Bishop was too easy.
It was okay.
I wasn't going to say it.
Next word. Next word.
Okay. Art.
Love. I just love art.
Vision.
Houston.
Wow. Guys, you heard that. Houston.
Houston.
Okay.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Okay.
You're watching it.
Yeah.
Okay. Black art.
Ooh.
Dominance. I believe it's dominating it right now. Black art is dominating.
Hidden. I think it's to me, I think, and I don't know, it's contrary to what I think it's hidden. I think there's a lot of black art out there that's just, I know this is one word, huh?
Go ahead and preach.
I'll say this. I think that there's a lot of black art for fear of success that just has not been. This is a personal thought. I think some of the greatest minds and in-depth creativity come from black artists. And I think there's a lot of those hidden talents that haven't been birthed.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that black art, it needs to be more important to us, how we portray ourselves and how we project who we are to the world. I think some of the images and some of the mindsets and some of the things that we do in music and film and all that kind of gives us bad PR. You know, and I think that we need to change that and really be excellent and not just raunchy, you know, just foolish. I think we need to change how we're projecting ourselves to the world.
I love that. I love that. Last word. God.
Grace.
Tender.
Love. Love God.
I love that.
I love that. I love that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Guys, make sure that you stay tuned for the movie, The Message and the Messenger. It will be out on For Us, By Us, August 1st, and on some other streaming platforms coming soon, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Guys, thank you so much for joining in. It's your girl, HeyCharliy.